Hello, hello. Welcome to day 1128 of Connecting the Thoughts. Code for today is closure. Closure is healing to a deep wound. Ooh, what do I mean by that? Well, closure, closure to anything, closure to an experience, closure to a relationship, closure to an argument, closure to an expectation is deeply healing. It's just like healing is to a deep wound. More on that on the other side of the show reel. If you haven't subscribed already, do subscribe to the YouTube channel because here is where I post daily videos on the little things that make life big. Welcome back. Welcome back to the conversation on day 1128 of Connecting the Thoughts. Good for today is closure is healing to a deep wound. So, what do I mean by that? Sometimes when a relationship things go wrong and we leave loose ends. We think that not addressing the elephant in the room might just be the best thing to do because we just don't like confrontations. We don't like it when where we're put in the spotlight. So we just kind of hesitate from it and we move away and we try staying as silent as we can, or we do things that are comfortable in that relationship, because and then we pretend that everything's fine. So what I'm saying is, when you do this, it's kind of like having that very deep wound, because something has hurt you. You have a very deep wound and you haven't cleaned it, or you haven't kind of healed it. So what do you really need to do in this situation? If something is important enough to cause a hurt that is very, very deep, it is important for you to address it with the person who hurt you, because obviously a stranger is not going to come up and hurt you that deeply. If someone's important to you, you're going to feel hurt by their behavior. If someone's important to you, you're going to feel that ouch when something goes unexpected. So, what I'm inviting you to do is to actually, if that person really means something to you, then sit down and have a talk out. Talk with the person, and there's the joke, right, where when a wife tells her husband that we need to talk, they freak out because they wonder that, oh my God, I wonder what she's going to talk to me about. But you know what, guys? When she's talking to you, that just means that she is seeking closure. She doesn't like leaving things loosely open. She doesn't like kind of, just letting things be sorted out. She doesn't like it when things are just left to assumptions. So therefore, it's important to find that closure, and it could be just a feminine thing, or even for men. I mean, I'm speaking again from my perspective. For me, it's important to have closure in anything. So, and how do you find that closure? If, for instance, um, we realize through coaching, through different techniques, sometimes you have a realization that something that you are holding on from childhood is what is affecting you, and you need to find closure on something that impacted you as a child. How do we then do that? Well, there are different ways of doing it. Timeline therapy works. You could sit with yourself, meditate, speak to the person one to one on an individual basis, and say what you need to. Have that conversation. It might feel a little weird in the beginning, but as you do it, as you practice more of it, you begin to realize that yes, this is possible and it is making sense, because at the end of the day, what you're doing is you are unloading all those emotions, all those words and thoughts that you've kind of kept pent up inside your heart. So you are releasing it, you are releasing the energy of those thoughts from your heart space, and you are cleaning up your heart. You're literally clearing your heart from all that baggage. So that is why closure is super super important. Another way to do this would possibly be to write down what you're feeling, and then to release that energy, burn the paper or tear it into bits, flush it away. Do whatever works for you, whatever sits right with you. Do not keep that piece of paper. Do not hold on to it and say, "Oh, I had these feelings and I released them. Now I'm going to save them, or now I'm going to keep them to refer to them, or whatever." No, once you've released them, you need to let them go. So, as a good friend of mine, Elaine says, when you don't forgive people, when you don't, you don't release what you're holding on to, it's almost like you're hugging a cactus. So, when you don't release what you're holding in your heart, for again, as if the relationship is even important to you, then you will make that effort to cross the bridge. You will make that effort to find that closure, because it is healing for that relationship. It is healing for you as a person. Because if the biggest regret wouldn't be that you messed up on the relationship. The biggest regret would be the fact that um, you you didn't take that step forward to heal that relationship. It isn't about whether you messed up in the relationship, but it's more about, I could have taken that one step forward to heal the relationship, but I didn't do that. And that's so bad on my part. That's the music that begins to start playing after a while, when you start missing that person, or when you start realizing that you're missing that relationship, or relationships of that kind. Because again, when you don't learn the lesson of from life gives you that lesson over and over again. Oh god, I need to write that one down. When you don't learn the lesson of life gives you that lesson over and over again. When you don't when you meet a certain kind of a person, and then you behave in a certain way, and there's a pattern, if you don't kind of break that pattern, then you keep meeting the same kind of person over and over again, until you learn your lesson and change your ways around people like that. So think about all of this. This is super super important. Yes, this is super, super important. And let me know your thoughts. Have you ever been in a place where you've just left things to the air, and you just left things loose ends in relationships, in experiences and situations, and then wondered to yourself why you're feeling the way you are, why you're feeling a little heavy in the heart? That's because you're holding on to things, and you haven't found the courage in you, or the willingness in you, to find resolve. And the moment you find resolve, the moment you address the feelings you're feeling, or the regret, or the anger, even anger, grief, anything that you might be holding on to, any residual feelings that you're holding on to and haven't let go of, are going to kind of keep sinking into your heart and creating a deepness in that wound. So it's like that wound is just going to keep getting infected with more feelings. It's just going to go deeper and deeper and deeper, and it's going to hurt harder and harder. And you might pretend everything is fine, and because we're great at doing that, right? We're great at pretending everything is fine, but it doesn't serve you, because, as I said, until you learn your lesson, life is going to give you that same lesson over and over again, that same experience, that same pattern, that same relationship over and over again. So would you not want to take this moment, because you've come across this video for a reason, you've come across this reason for this video for a reason, and maybe this video is just that reason, or that sign that the universe is giving you to kind of come to closure with certain things that you might have kind of left buried deep in your heart. So think about that. And if this has been of value to you, please write in comments. Let's use the power of I am, and let's write in comments saying, I am releasing. So anything that you are holding on to, any kind of negativity, any kind of anger, any feelings, any hurt, any pain, any sadness, any grief, any bitterness, anything at all that you're holding on to, I am releasing. And I would like to thank you and ask you to tag anybody who needs to receive this message because we all struggle with closure. It's just the most simplest, most beautiful thing to do. If, again, if you value something, if you value a relationship, it's the most simplest thing to do. But if you are making it bigger than it is, then it's something that you might want to you will definitely hide away from, and it's not going to serve you if you hide away from it. So, until tomorrow, keep smiling, keep shining, stay safe, and thank you for connecting the thoughts with me. Thank you so much. Once again, if you haven't subscribed already, please do.